Joe Biden becoming president-elect over the weekend, there is a lot his team needs to do until Inauguration Day in January.
And meanwhile, the Trump administration continues to contest the results of the election. And here to help us sort it all out is Madison College political science professor Maurice Sheppard. Thank you for joining us.
Good to see you. Thanks.
So we're still waiting. Trump is contesting the results, as we've all heard, but there's this whole process of ascertainment. Can you explain about that? It's not happening right now.
Well, in terms of the transition from the old administration to the new administration, I think that begins with the Presidential Transition Act. That leads to, once again, a smooth movement from an old administration to a new one. It hasn't always gone smooth. I think during the Bush-Obama transition, over that period, that was seen as one of the smoothest transitions, where the outgoing Bush administration really did a lot to help the new administration. More recently, the Clinton, during the Bush v. Gore campaign in 2000 and court case, that was a transition that was pretty rough, because the outgoing Clinton administration, they took their time in terms of providing, again, sort of the transition resources through the General Services Administration to help, again, the new administration come in. So some of the delay that we see here, it's not new. Ultimately, the transition will take place, but it seems to be fairly difficult at this point.
But there, as you say, there are laws in place that'll make this happen sooner or later.
Yeah, correct. Yes, there are federal laws to see that it occurs. The key point here would be the General Services Administration, when they determine, and there's one person there who determines that the president-elect that the election is formalized, that it's done, and it's not clear exactly what triggers that. Is it the major media calling an election for a candidate, or should it wait until the electoral votes are actually counted in Congress during the joint session that should take place on January 6th? That has never truly been sort of identified or clarified, so there's still some ambiguity there.
That would not give them much time.
No, it would not. That was one of the issues, I think, with the transition following the Bush-Gore campaign in 2000, is that the Bush team did not have a lot of time, again, at that point to transition. Again, the gold standard, I think, was from the Bush administration to the Obama administration, where the Bush team did apparently a fantastic job, really doing a lot to make sure that all of the materials were digitized so that they could be handed over properly. They even left little bits of candy on desks and computers for the incoming administration.
The good old days.
Yeah.
The good old days.
How potentially harmful could this be, that it's taking longer for this transition, and also just getting information? So we're in the middle of a pandemic.
Correct. Yes, we're in the middle. The great news today was that a virus once again, a
vaccine
antidote for the vaccine. A vaccine may be on its way, but then there's the entire, once again, the logistics of, again, distributing that and getting that out. It could be very dangerous for the pandemic, but also everything else continues to go. Foreign relations, international relations, once again, the economy. There are a lot of plates in the air right now that there is some danger that if government doesn't transition smoothly, there could be deadly fallout.
The current president is calling follow-ons the election count, the vote count. Any credence to that?
Well, we will see. He has the right to use his legal resources to challenge, again, the vote count in individual states. But when I work with my students, what I tell them is there's once again the Constitution and federal law here. I think it's December 14th, there has to be a certificate of the vote from each state for the Electoral College vote. That has to be sent to the Senate, to the President of the Senate, and also the Archivist of the United States. And then on January 6th, there will be a joint session of Congress where they will count those electoral votes. So this is not an endless process. There are laws and rules in place to dictate what happens. And just like with the Bush v. Gore case, I think December 8th, I think, is the date. It's called sort of the safe harbor date. That's really when, again, in terms of state governments and their electoral colleges, those have to be sort of in place, let's say.
And we know you'll be keeping on top of this, as you always do, Maurice.
Maurice, thanks for being with us today.